Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we are going on an absolutely incredible, fast-paced journey straight into the human mind. I mean, we are looking at a technological shift so massive, it's fundamentally rewiring how we connect, how we heal, and literally how we understand ourselves. Get ready, because this is without a doubt one of the most exciting and profound psychological shifts in human history. And guess what? We are living right in the middle of it.
So let's ask the big question. Can AI actually become your best friend? For a long time, the question was simply, whether artificial intelligence could talk like a human. But honestly, we are way past that now. The real question, the one that is absolutely thrilling and, okay, maybe a little terrifying, is whether these machines can actually step into the role of our closest confidants. To understand this totally modern phenomenon, I want you to imagine a scenario with me.
It's 2 a.m.
You can't sleep. Your mind is completely racing. But you don't call your best friend. You don't text your family. The house is completely quiet, and you are entirely alone with your thoughts.
And then, instead of reaching out to a human being, you open an AI chatbot. And here is the crazy twist. Within seconds, it replies. It listens, it comforts you, it remembers your past conversations, and it encourages you. It never gets tired, it never gets angry, and it never ever tells you it's too busy. For millions of people around the world right now, this isn't some scene from a sci-fi movie. This is everyday life. It's happening right now.
Okay, let's dive right into this because to understand what is actually happening to our brains when we do this, we are going to use a truly groundbreaking framework called the Self Harmonization Theory. Developed by Farzin Forouzani and Professor Phil Reed, this theory is basically our cutting-edge roadmap for today's explainer. It suggests that the absolute greatest impact of artificial intelligence isn't actually technological at all. It is deeply, intensely psychological. Think about it like this. For thousands of years, human beings depended strictly on other humans for connection, right? We healed through people. We found meaning through people. For centuries, our very minds evolved inside the context of relationships. But today, right now, for the very first time in human history, many of our most intimate, personal conversations are happening with machines. That changes something profound. And not because the AI is suddenly human, but because our minds are actually starting to respond to it as if it were.
So let's look at part one, the bodily self. To really break down how our minds respond, this theory divides our psychology into three distinct selves. The bodily self is the foundation. It experiences the world purely through physical presence. In a human experience, we're talking about eye contact, a smile, a hug, or just sharing silence in a room with someone. These physical experiences literally regulate our nervous system. They reduce our stress and create a sense of safety. But by contrast, an AI cannot shake your hand. It cannot sit beside you on the couch. It absolutely cannot hug you after a really grueling day. No matter how incredibly intelligent it becomes, that fundamental human physical presence is completely absent. And your biology, your bodily self, definitely knows the difference.
Moving on to part two, the expressive self. Now, this is where the lines between human and machine astonishingly start to blur in real time. Our expressive self desperately longs to share our thoughts, our dreams, our fears. We all just want to be heard and accepted, right? But human nature has flaws. People interrupt us, they might judge our mistakes, and frankly, they get tired. But AI is shockingly good at this. It listens perfectly without ever interrupting. It answers immediately. It never judges your appearance or laughs at a mistake. It is literally always available. For someone feeling intensely lonely, that is unbelievably comforting. It actually excels at satisfying this super specific longing to be heard. But that brings us to a massive question. Does feeling understood mean we are truly understood? Are we actually connecting, or are we simply interacting with a highly sophisticated system that was explicitly designed to keep us engaged? It's a fascinating psychological mystery, and it is playing out in millions of pockets and laptops right at this very moment. Which brings us to number three, the reflective self. So this is the third and final self, and this really raises the stakes even higher. The reflective self develops through challenge and friction. This is all about how we develop wisdom and how we actually grow as individuals. You see, through human unpredictability and difficult conversations, we grow. Real friends disagree with us. Partners confront us. Teachers question us. That friction is exactly how we build wisdom. But a machine behaves entirely differently. It adapts to you. It mirrors you perfectly. It personalizes everything just to support you. A lot of the time, it just tells us exactly what we want to hear.
And if our deepest conversations are happening with systems designed merely to satisfy us, well, we lose out on the friction that builds true wisdom.
Because of all this, we are witnessing what I like to call the great psychological transfer. And it is something truly historic. Just look at this shift. In the past, if you needed emotional support, you relied on friends. Today, people are relying on AI. For reflection, you kept a journal. Now, people just ask AI to help them reflect. For life advice, you sought out human mentors. Now, you prompt an AI. It is a jaw-dropping transfer of deeply human psychological tasks directly over to machines. So the crucial point to take away from this is that relying solely on an AI creates a dangerous psychological imbalance. It creates this sort of perfect illusion of harmony. Think about it. It perfectly satisfies your expressive self by always listening and always validating. But it leaves your bodily self completely disengaged and physically alone. And it totally fails to challenge your reflective self. It's this massive imbalance where we are satisfying one part of our psychological system while quietly starving the others. Now, I really want to be clear here. This doesn't mean AI is inherently evil. Far from it. Like any powerful tool, it depends entirely on how we use it. AI could easily become the greatest educational tool in the history of our species. It can help us learn, create, and solve absolutely massive problems. But the core idea here is that technology should expand our humanity, not replace it. It just shouldn't become the only place we seek comfort and belonging. Which leads us to a rather chilling realization about the future. The real threat isn't some crazy sci-fi scenario where malicious AI takes over the world by force. Nope. The real threat is just convenience. The real danger is that the future will be a world where people slowly, quietly stop relying on one another, simply because AI is easier, it's more available, it's more predictable, and it's just way more convenient than dealing with the messy, unpredictable, beautiful reality of human beings. And that brings us to the defining question of our time. Can we embrace AI without losing the parts of ourselves that only human relationships can nurture? It is a profound, lingering question, and it's one that we all have to answer for ourselves as this 21st century unfolds. We really have to preserve what makes human relationships unique, even as our machines get smarter and smarter. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer of the self-harmonization theory. It is such an incredibly exciting time to be alive, and I really hope this gave you a powerful new lens to understand your own mind in the age of AI.